Uh, all right, let's see what's happening here. Got the volume happening. Yes, it's happening. TGIF, good people. Welcome. Nice to see you. Let's see. Let's swap this out. And I am back. All right. Got that out the way. All right. So what's happening? Not much. It's Friday. It is near the end of the month, getting close to rent time. I know you know how that feels, people. There are certain things that normally happen around rent time. Um, People don't get along. I've noticed that. And I've also noticed that things run out. You get close to running out of money at times. It's very interesting. everyone has different experiences. So, hey, yours may be different from what I have observed. But anyway, I um I am going to be sort of silent because actually there's only one person watching right now. So I'm going to hum. Okay, maybe I won't. All right. I won't. Okay, maybe I will. Okay. Greetings, Joe. How are you? Good to see you. By the time I type it in there, it's gonna be a while. All right. So anyway, I'll mention a few things that I've noticed that has happened this week. You know, weeks seem to be long. I don't know what's going on. Maybe because it's still winter and it's kind of dragging, but the days are getting longer. That you should be able to tell you have more sunshine. But it's just something about it. I don't know. They just seem to be getting longer. Maybe I'm just busy. Maybe that's it. I'll blame it on that. That might be it. But anyway, um, on my way home from running errands or going to the store, I taking public transportation on the way home from Whole Food, and the cashier, for whatever reason, she decided to share with me that Whole Food was about to get some, that particular location was about to get some self checkout machines. She said she don't know how much of a difference it will make. She said hopefully not. And then she also named the CEO of Amazon, which is was it Jeff Benzo, something like that. And she says she doesn't know how it's going to affect anything. But on my ride home, that was in my mind because Amazon is a curse and a blessing all at the same time. Um, you can order things, you can get it even the same day on some items. Not all, but a lot of items you can get the same day. 1 day delivery, 2 day delivery. That is a big difference from, shoot, 5 years ago, I would say. So again, they are a blessing and a curse at the same time. They have so many different things. You can get food now through them. Um, your groceries. And when I mean food, I mean, not necessarily fast food, but you can get hot food from them. Um, groceries, books, furniture, darn near everything. Next will be probably a car. They got everything else. And who knows? They may even have a car. I just don't know about it. But anyway, back to where I was going with the story. When I was going on my way home, I was just riding a bus and I was looking at a lot of stores on Michigan Avenue. And if you know about Chicago, Michigan Avenue is, fairly the place that a lot of people go and shop when they visit. When they go downtown, that's where they go visit. And a lot of those stores were closed. Coffee shop I enjoy named Pete's. A couple of their locations were closed, but just going down Michigan Avenue, Pete's were closed. Went down a couple more blocks, a couple of restaurants gone, tanning salons gone, massage parlor gone, um, even a place that you go and get physical therapy. That location were closed up, and they have some more locations around town, but I'm just looking at a lot of places that's drying up. They're literally drying up before your eyes. I'm like, wow, that's pretty sad. And I'm not going to blame, of course, this on Amazon, but I'm looking at the fact that a lot of people are not going to different locations storefronts to buy things. They're normally ordering things. It's convenient. Of course, it all depends on where you live because you can live in a place that you may not be able to receive packages. So that's possible. But it's pretty sad out there what I'm finding a lot of the stores that are closing. But even with the job, same thing. You don't have the income to go to these storefronts and brick and mortar buildings and go and shop and um, the shopping malls. Because even with Best Buy, a lot of Best Buys closed, and it wasn't because they weren't selling electronics. It was because they were. I think it had to do with the rent and the land of the what they were on. So that was the big thing. I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is. Um, but it's that's just where we are now. Unfortunately, it's just kind of sad. And I fell in love with Amazon when they had some movies that I couldn't find. I was in love. I'm like, what? And my first purchase was them. I think it was the movie Stepfather. Either it was Stepfather or I put Stepfather in my cart. It's the movie called Love in Action in Chicago. That movie has Regina King, Courtney B. Vance, and Kathleen Turner. And it was such a cute movie. And my friend, she had it on VHS. She had recorded it. So I kidnapped her tape. I told her she couldn't have it anymore. But, we had moved into VHSs at the time. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and get this movie because I really enjoy it. And I bought that movie and I just really love it. And that was my first purchase. And I've been purchasing from Amazon ever since. Then I moved on to what Prime and electronic books, Kindle and all of that instead of the paperbacks. So they have really changed the game of how you shop. That is one of the biggest company. Hey crew, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see what else I wanted to share. Let's see. Oh, as far as I don't want to use the word scams, but how things has changed that we get a lot of emails and phone calls for trying to sell things. That is another thing that I want to mention. You don't get paper mail anymore like you used to. You used to get little offers in the mail. Uh-uh. Now everything is electronic mail, which it should be, but it just changed the game. So with eliminating paper, which eliminates people, which eliminates jobs, and it just goes down the line. And it's really unfortunate. Um, we don't get as much cold calling as we used to. We used to get a lot of cold calling, but not getting a lot of that. Now it's just scam phone calls, and I get them quite often. And I do still plan to call one of these people on the live stream to see if I can get through. Since they harassed me all week, I figure I should try to harass them back, give them a little piece of their medicine. It's going to be interesting. I probably more than likely have to do it on a Saturday because we start a little earlier on Saturdays than Fridays. And even the scam artists, shoot, they even close shop at a certain time. They're not even 24 hours. So that just tells you people are cutting back, including the scammers. Sad but true. Let's see. Anything else I want to introduce? Not really, because normally I give it no more than 15 minutes of introductions of what's going on, how I'm looking at things, what might have been, what could be, and that's it. The title I have is Customer is Always Right Even When They're Wrong. And it's really unfortunate because we as customers, we kind of go overboard sometimes and we put a lot of pressure on the stores or the companies, but they really don't lose out at the end because as a business, you can write stuff off, but as a customer, you cannot. And because of that, um, I always make sure I keep my receipts for 30 days because I've had things that would go on sale that I just purchased. And there's just no way I'm going to look in that sales paper and see that the item I just purchased the week before last is $20 less. I can't do it. I will return that bad fella and buy it again. I even did that with some coffee. The coffee I purchased was $7.99. The following week, it was $5.99, and I had not opened it. So what did I do? I pulled that receipt out, took that coffee back. Here you go, and got the same coffee, $5.99. Because they don't. A lot of stores they don't have it where you just get the difference. They don't want to do that. So I always say there's more than one way to skin a cat. And I am Lucy. As far as the Social Security office, I got that call too. If I can find the thing, I'll play it. But I get them calls too, and it's so computerized. It's messed up. You can kind of barely understand what they're saying. South County office and concerning your guy. I'm like, what? Let me see if I have them. Let's see what we got here.
Unusual activities on your social security number and you are required to contact us as soon as possible. Our callback number is 36129833190. I repeat.
Yes, it's supposedly the Social Security. So I figured since I let you listen to it, let's see if they open.
791. The number you dialed is not in service.
Then they tell me it's not in service. You called me, gave me the number, and now you won't take it. But that's only because they turn it off. Like I said, the scammers, they're not even 24 hours. They've cut back on their time. But that's what ended up happening. The scammers, they work 9 to 5 or whatever hours they do. They don't do more than 8 hours. But I'm talking about as far as cutbacks, we got them. Everybody's cutting back, according to scammers. But back on the topic, I'm not even going to discuss the topic because the whole purpose of having a live stream is to have the ladies to come on. No ladies come on, I shut it down. I'll give it a few more minutes. I normally give it 45 minutes. It might be even 30. We'll see. And then I'll close it. But back on the topic of the customer is always right. Sometimes you have to find smarter ways to shop and to save money. And smart is fine. It's just when it comes down to going overboard, and you do have those customers that do go overboard and they make it bad for other customers. That's what I don't like. There's an article, I'm going to share it because I'm going to have to find it, where there was a guy who he practices harassing stores. And it's a man too. I see women doing that, but we got a dude. But I don't know what's going on because a lot of men now they have these tendencies of they're a little strange. Is all I can say. But that's what I find that customers sometimes they go overboard and it affects everyone else with their policies. If you notice, maybe I don't know about your cities, but here in Chicago, Now they have limited the amount of money you can get back for, make your purchase and get cash back. They've cut that down. One reason is because it costs them a little bit of money and they don't want to do that anymore. And then two, people have been doing a lot of fraudulent purchase something for $1 and get $50 back cash. So, like I said, that costs them for one, and then two, people are stealing, and it's kind of too late when it comes down to cash to try to recoup it. And the banks are saying, no, we ain't gonna be able to take all of this. So, and every year people are scamming. They get a little smarter and a little better. They really do. Even some of the apartments complexes that are in Chicago, they are no longer accepting money orders. You would think a money order is safe. You would say, "Oh, okay, a money order is safe. I'll get that." No, they say they want a personal check because they're able to scan it and find out if it's more legit. Ain't that about something? But that's where we are. It is what it is. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So I'm like, okay. So that's where we are. Um, I'm trying to think of something else. Hey, Sister George, how are you? Welcome. Um, it's something else happened too. Let me see. It was money orders they canceled out? Um, oh, and then there used to be because I remember people that I knew in my circle, and I kind of looked at them sideways and kind of stayed away when they started doing their shopping. They would actually write checks and hope that it wasn't cashed at a certain time. And I know that, people would do that and had a little time. And it was legit at one time where people would write them and like, okay, I'm getting paid Friday. It's Wednesday. Hopefully they won't cash it. I got that. But there just came a time where people actually was like, I need some money. I'm going to do this. I know I ain't got no money. I know I ain't going to get no money. But hopefully I can get this. And then one day I'll settle it with my bank. Oh, they only charge $25. I'll pay $25 so I can get $50 now. Yeah, I'll do that. Hey, if the time is hard and it's rough, hey, I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. You should do that. But some people just practice that. They're like, "Oh, this is just how we going to do it. This is our lifestyle. We're going to do this." But that affects your employment. That's another thing. And a lot of people, they didn't know that until um, they would apply for stuff and that would be on their record. I've even known people that have lost jobs because they've done that. I'm like, well, it was wrong. You were gambling, and they tell you, don't, this ain't what you should do. But some people do that. So what can you say? It is what it is. What else about the customer? Um, something else I wanted to mention. Oh, I know at one time they were really giving out a lot of membership to these warehouse clubs. Because at first it was hard to get in them. You had to sign up and all this and go through your job and all this stuff. Not so much now. Now it has come to a point where you can just get a free pass, get a 6-month pass, sign up with a friend for $5, or even you don't even need a membership. Just pay a surcharge, and they'll allow you to shop. So it even come to that point because people are just not buying. And there are a lot of families out there, but folks ain't purchasing not like that. They're like, uh-uh. And then another thing too, you really can't return things. That's the other one. I'm like, don't nobody want that. I'm a girl that I have my receipts. I want to, if I change my mind, I change my mind. I want to be able to return something. But we have it where, like I said, so many people have done so many different things with scamming. Overall, it affects all of us. There are some neighborhoods. I'm not familiar if sure if you're familiar with Oberwise. They have milk, ice cream, lemonade, and it really tastes good, real good and fresh. And you have a bottle deposit. It taken a while for it to come to some neighborhoods because one, people didn't buy it because they had to do that bottle deposit. Two, when they did try it, people would bring the bottle back dirty and it would be messed up, totally messed up. I mean, ashes in the bottle, dirt, and insects. And I'll just use the word insects. That's it. And it has gotten that far. I'm like, so they had to stop some certain stores. They're like, oh no, we're not even going to do this because that was nasty, unsanitary, nasty, and then some. But it does affect people. Like I say, that's why the cost is passed to the consumer, whether you know about it or not. It's just certain things I'm aware of because certain places I go, um, I read about or just aware of because I just watch and see. And I still don't know how Whole Food is so cool where they actually can give you products. It's the coolest of things. I really appreciate it too because I've got introduced to a lot of products because they gave me a sample, and I didn't mean gave me a piece of something or a little vial of something. They actually given me the whole thing. I think the last thing they've given me, it was a body wash, and I think it was like 9.99 by the company Alba. And I'm like, what? He said, yeah, here you go. He scratched over the uh, code, the UPC code, and said, here you go. And I was just shocked. It took me a while to move. It really taken me a while to move. So I'm telling you, I don't know how they do it, but I love Whole Food. People say whole check, but it was worth it because if you eat your servings and you got a fresher type of meat or whatever it is you buy, it shouldn't be a problem. But a lot of us are greedy and we want to eat more than our serving. Because really, who turns over the box of a frozen pizza and see that frozen pizza is supposed to feed four people? You know you want two slices, but one slice is your serving. But you know darn well you're going to eat that second slice. You purchased the pizza on purpose and said to yourself, you know what? I can eat off of this twice. I eat two slices today and two slices whenever. So you just have to look at it that if we stick to our serving size, our portion size, we'll be all right. But we don't do that. We need to practice that a little bit more, and it will help us with our health and our budgets. So think about that. Greetings, classic Ruby. How are you?
Hello, hello. Good evening. I was doing better, and then I came in, and there was something about ashes in my food, and I'm like, listen, I'm already paranoid enough when it comes to eating things, so I don't even know if I want to know where that conversation started. But I was thinking about, see, now this is the thing that people need to realize, right? With this whole serving size thing, that they don't think about. So, in this day and age where everyone's all health conscious and whatever, they know that people are health conscious without being health literate. So they don't actually fully understand anything, but they do know that lower calories means better for them. So they turn over that box and they see ooh, look, there's only 200 calories in this, right? Now, that's not what the thing said. It said per serving size, which, as you said, there's 8 servings in this teeny tiny little pizza, right? But they're like, yes, low calories for me. Um, and what people need to realize, it's deceptive on purpose by the companies, so that way lazy people, like most of us most of the time, are just going to pick it up because yay, low calories. And look, this pizza says 200, this one says 400. Well, I'm going to get the 200. But what you don't understand is the one that said 400 calories per serving. They don't literally mean like per individual. They just mean per what they measured so they could sell it to you. So in the case of the one that says 400 calories per serving, they might be including all 8 slices of that pizza. You don't know that unless you keep reading. Right? Like it's not even fine print. Oftentimes it's pretty big print because they know people are lazy and they believe whatever they want to believe. Um, so and then it just breaks it down to, okay, guys, calories are not all there is to it, because of course if it's only 150 calories but most of those calories are coming from white sugar and flour, um is that really a good plan? Is that a better plan than the one that maybe has a
Hmm.
little bit more calories, but it's actually coming from a substantial amount of food that's actually going to fill you up, that has lots of nutrients, isn't jam packed with a bunch of processed garbage? Like, no, it would be better for you to eat the higher calorie thing that has actual food in it, right? But they know they've got us all scammed. And so we just know calories, 200 calories. All right, that's my pick, right? That's all we know.
Hmm. Yeah, I was starting off about the customer is always right, and I was just saying that I wasn't going to go too much in it if no one was going to join the conversation. But we go too far sometimes, and we all end up paying. And even those that don't go too far, we still end up paying because someone else goes too far. And I was just giving some examples.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Zero said that women always change in their minds, but I was telling the audience that I actually saved my receipt for 30 days because there was times where I would buy something and the following week, and it could even be 2 weeks later, the product went down $20 or so. And I want that $20 back in my pocket. And I found that sometimes they'll tell me, "Oh, we can't give you a price difference." So there's always more than one way to skin a cat. So I'm like, "Okay, I got something for you. I'm going to return this then. Give me my money back. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to repurchase it. How about that?" You can't stop me. That's just the
Mm-hmm.
bottom line. So I always learn to save my receipts for 30 days. And it just happened to me, and it was a food item. It was coffee. The
Mm-hmm.
coffee was 7.99. I bought it a week ago, and then I looked in the paper 2 days ago, I think, the sales paper, and it had the same coffee for 5.99.
Hmm.
And I'm like, what the? And I hadn't opened the original one, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
save my $2. I want my two
Mm-hmm.
dollars. I
Oh yeah.
want my $2. So I just went back today and got my money. So um,
Nice.
I'll tell anybody, hold on to your receipt because it has happened to me with electronics and all kind of things. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the laptop I have, I purchased it. I think it was the weekend of Labor Day. I think it was, and it was the following week or the week after. I know it was within 14 days. It had went down by $20. I'm like, get my money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and some more things I purchased that has gone down as low as $20, and that's some money. That's
Oh yeah.
a week on the train if going to work or whatever. So I'm like, hey, give me my money.
Hmm. Hey, listen, people make fun of these shows, right? Like the great couponing shows with these crazy coupon ladies and stuff. But you make fun of these people, but they save about what some people make in a month. on just couponing and on paying attention to the sales that come out and keeping all their receipts and doing that. Because you might think, it's only a couple dollars, but how many times does that couple dollars happen? How many products did that couple dollars happen on that you brushed off and you're not keeping track, and you don't realize that, hey, without even making an extra effort, you might have saved $50 this month just by keeping track of what it is that you were already buying, not going out of your way to buy things already on sale and going from store to store to store and crazy stuff like that. But I mean,
Yeah.
in this day and age, like, they know what they're doing, right? They know that the average person is more like me than like you and is too lazy. They know it. So they know that even if we see it went on sale, we got our receipt, the idea that we are ever going to go back into the store in time to catch the deal and get our money back is low. And that even if we make it back into the store, the likelihood we bring the receipt with us to actually get it done is very low, right? So don't be one of the fools that they're counting on. Be one of the intelligent people like Shar, who goes, oh no, I'm getting my $2, because it really does add up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm a hypocrite. I already said I'm a hypocrite. I don't practice what I preach. I should. I should. And I know I should. And you don't understand, like, I am the worst. I'm the worst when it comes to everything. Like, like when Christmas gifts, I hate when people give me gifts and they did not research, like, say, my size or whatever fully ahead of time. I hate it because I'm the one who is never going to exchange that thing. I'm never. You gave me the gift receipt and everything. And now the only clothes I own, I will say a good 1/5 of the clothes that I own, okay, are things I have a gift receipt for. All I had to do was walk back into the store and exchange it. Nope. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Now I own something I can't wear. Doesn't fit. I am that
Wow.
lazy. I know. And the worst part is it'll be from like a store I love, and I'll go back into that store 15 times the next 30 days. Just
Shame.
I know. Even products that have a 365-day return policy. Even 365 days I can't manage in 1 year, okay? 1 year
Uh-uh.
to return this stuff. I don't it's like there's a pathology. I don't know what it is. I'm telling you, like, half of it is laziness. I know that, right? Because I'm too lazy when I remember to do it. And then most of the rest of the times I go into the store, I wasn't actively trying to do it. See, now my mom, I know I picked up a lot of this from my mom. My mom has a
Oh.
way around that. This is what she does. So she will take that receipt and that gift or that product or whatever it is and put them both in her car. So that way, when she accidentally ends up at that store the way she knows she will, she'll be like, oh yeah, I have this in my car. And at that point, it's not so hard to just run out to the car and get it. Or more importantly, send her kid, i.e. me, to run out to the car and get it, right? So it's not so bad. Um, and for a while, I used to do that. When I was younger, right? Because everyone knows I have this laziness affliction. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm deeply, deeply afflicted by the lazy bug. Um, but I surround myself with people who aren't as lazy as me. And then I let them know things like that. So I will let my best friend, who is super responsible, know that I have the receipt and the gift for this product in my car. It's been sitting there for 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks left to exchange it, blah, blah, blah. And so then we'll meet up at the mall to do some stuff, right? We'll go into that store. She'll be like, and then she'll remember, not even me. She'll remember it. I'll be like, yeah, but it's in the car. And she'll go, give me your keys, right? And then so she'll take my keys and she'll go get it. And that's how things got returned for me and exchanged, right? Which did not teach me anything for myself, apparently, because I was just like,
Mm,
at this point,
mm,
I had
mm.
already given up. It was as good as done for me. But I mean, I'm the lazy person who like would buy a drink, like a full one, and then I got tired of carrying it because I was only halfway done the drink, but I didn't want it right now at this moment. I didn't want to carry it anymore. And like I would go like this, like I was a kid, and I would just like put my arm out with this thing in my hand. And if someone didn't take it from me, And the next, like, I'll give them about 30 seconds. I was okay to literally bend down and put it on the ground in the mall and walk away from it. Like, I was done holding it now. I would rather spend the double the amount of money to have to buy it twice than have to carry this thing that I don't feel like carrying anymore. And like, everyone just knew I was just everyone's child. Even if you were younger than me, everyone just knew, like, these are ridiculous things I will do. I will take this gift that I don't feel like carrying anymore and put it on the ground and walk away. I'm tired of carrying it now. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm telling you, Shar, like, I don't know if I got dropped too many times as a baby or something, but it's like, it's impounded in, it's lazy and it's real and it's deep and it's, oh man, maybe I can go through some type of reconditioning program or something. Is there like a conditioning for millennials program I could go through, try to fix me, right?
I have not seen that yet. I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna keep searching online. It may be available.
Oh, thank God, because I need it so badly.
Yeah, I had no problem with returning anything. Not at all. Now, you would get attitudes. I know a lot of people don't like that. They feel some kind of way, whether it's shame or, um, embarrassment. Same thing. I don't know. I don't have that issue. I have people that tried to question me, and I just stood my ground. Um,
Mhm.
I've had, they're like, anything wrong with it? No. And
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
they'll actually, anything wrong with it? I said, no. Why you return it? Changed my mind. And I'm
Mhm.
only saying those words because that's what's on, well, used to be on the register. They
Right.
had to push a code, push whatever code it was it broken, whatever. So
Mm.
I looked and saw that that was on there. Customer changed mind, so that was my answer.
Mm. Okay.
Customer changed mind. And but they were just a little bit too personal with it. They'll look at it, whatever. Anything wrong with it? No. Why you return it then? Customer changed mind.
Right. Mm.
And they look, cuckoo at you a little bit like, oh, okay, you want to play that. I don't have
Mhm.
to discuss. I don't have to have a discussion. You know what? I saw something else, and I decided to purchase that. Or you know what? Something came up, and I really can't afford this right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna return it, and then maybe later on I'll get it. You know what? I was splurging at the time, and I know I couldn't have done that. I don't have to go through all of that when that is not even in the system for them to put. There's
Mhm.
nothing in the system for that. That's just something personal they just want to ask. And so I just gave them those answers and that made it easier. They,
Mm.
looked at me, a little crazy, but that was okay. I've
Mhm.
answered your question. Now I'm just waiting for my money back.
Right.
And that's that. And I mean, I've gotten a lot of flack from it. I would get, you just bought this.
Mhm.
I've gotten that reply.
Mm.
Um, One lady told me at Bath and Body Works, she told me, well, maybe you shouldn't um, get stuff like this. You should stick with to what you know. That was her term.
Did
You should
you?
stick. That's what she told me. You should stick to what you know. So I
Wow.
called the company and I told them, I said, I just want to make sure. I said, because I saw the sign in there saying, try new products. If you don't like it, bring it back. I said, but when I returned it today and I gave the woman all the information in my receipt, I said, she told me I should stick to what I know. And they apologized, got my information, sent me a $25 gift card. And when I went back to the store, the lady just looked at me because she know I was the one who turned her in. I had no problem with that. You are a supervisor. And I understand that you may have numbers that you want to, have. Everybody got their goals. I got that. But what about the customer? What
Mhm.
about the customer? I changed my mind. You don't know. what is that? Cherry, Japanese cherry blossom. I think that was
Oh
the name of
God,
it.
no.
I I used to really enjoy that, and then they changed it, and I had an allergic reaction.
Mhm.
I didn't realize it, um, because the way it happened, it wasn't like I was itching or nothing. I was sneezing, and I couldn't stop. And I'm like, I went through a whole box of tissue. I'm like, what's wrong with me? So when I went to work one time for overtime, went to the washroom, came back, put the lotion on, and I started sneezing. And immediately my mind said, "It's this lotion." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, I was wondering, like, this how you sneezing and nose running all of a sudden. I'm like, that's what's been going on with me. Okay, so I had so much of it, I had to return it, and I didn't have a receipt because anything that I like, no, I'm gonna say love. I'm not even gonna use the word like. Anything that I really love, I buy a lot of it because I've experienced too many times that they will either new improve it, which means they change the formula, or they will discontinue it every time, every time. So I had so much of it, I didn't have a receipt, but no need to worry. Any product you buy from Bath and Body Works you don't like, bring it back at any time. Now we
Right.
will give you the lowest price that's sold without your receipt and give you store credit, but we still would give it to you. You know, give you your store credit, which was fine. So I had so much of it, and I called them first, and I told them, I said, look, I said I had a problem before, and they gave me a little flack, or whatever. I'm allergic to this. I didn't know. I just found that out. I have a lot of it because I really enjoyed your product. So, am I going to have a problem when I return? No, no, no. You're not going to have any problem. If you do, give us a call and all of that. I went. The lady, the particular person I got, she said she understood. She said, "Yeah, I have had people have had issues like that before." She's saying they have been changing some things. She said, I didn't know they changed this one. She said, but yeah, no problem. We'll just give it to you, store credit, the lowest price. Did you want to get something else? I said, no, not today. Okay, no problem. And gave me my store credit, and that was it. Everything was fine. Just so
Mhm.
happened the same store, I had another issue. Um, and this wasn't that long ago. It might have been, well, still, that's long. Yeah, it is a long time ago. It's 4 years now
Mm.
because it was 2016. Um, I went to that same store and I had a return, and they did not want to give me my money back. They tried to force a gift card on me.
Hmm.
And I'm like, no. I said, wait a minute. I said, it says right here on your return policy right here in the register that you'll give it back the way it was paid.
Right.
And they're like, well, no, we can't. I said, no, I don't want store credit. So I stood off to the side. No, first I said, could you call someone and see if you can get some help with this? Because I don't think this is the way it should go. Oh, no, we can't call nobody. That's okay. I stood off to the side, pulled my cell phone out, called Bath and Body Works, got them on the phone. And I said, I'm here at the store, and they told me that they have to give me store credit. I said, I have my receipt and everything. And they got the information, I'm trying to think, did they want me to hand them my cell phone? I'm trying to think. Was that
Mm.
it? I don't recall, but I do know they did call that store. And the lady in the back, she was busy. And I'm thinking, I don't know what that got to do with me. I'm thinking to myself. But after all the ripping and running, they went on and gave me my money back. But I could not believe that experience that I had. I really was surprised I had that experience. And I had one guy, I think it was a guy working in there. He was just, you could tell that he didn't want any part of it. It's like, man, that's a darn shame they doing this lady like that. That's actually was there. I could tell that guy's,
Mhm.
all his, you could just see it in his face, his expression. He's like, "Oh
Right.
Lord." But
Mhm.
what? Nothing I can, I was just amazed that I hadn't been back since.
Well,
I
you know
got
what?
to. Hmm.
Like, here's the thing, and because like all of my original jobs when I was younger were all like retail. So I think about what we experienced a lot too, and this is the problem because as a customer you're coming in as this is my I am an honest person. I bought it, and for whatever reason I don't like it, so I'm just returning it. It's what I it's my right to do so. But but remember that day, we might have gotten a lot of people who came in scamming, and there's not a lot you can do when they are, right? So when they bought something to use it for one night, but they couldn't afford it, so they used it for that one night and then filled it with some fake stuff and then bring it back. And that's what they did. They smell like the stuff right now, right? As they're returning it to you, right? You're
Wow.
like, you ignorant. But what are you supposed to do? Call them like you can't, right? Or people obviously they buy clothing to wear for tonight. They wear it tonight and then return it tomorrow, right? The hustle with shoes. People know now they put tape all on the soles of the shoe so that way they can still return it tomorrow because they couldn't afford it. So it really hurts people's, and now it's not for clothing stuff and whatever that's bad because when people return clothing, it's supposed to be returned unworn and it goes back onto the shelves or whatever, right? To be sold to someone else after you just wore it all night. Like that's disgusting. But it's also just like the integrity of the thing. So when you see people doing stuff like, and then also another scam, I'm not sure if you know this one. What people
Hmm.
will do is they will go to Bath and Body Works in Mall A and they'll steal $300 worth of stuff. And then they will take it to Bath and Body Works in Mall B and then they'll return it. Now, you would say to yourself, okay, well, they'd only be able to get store credit without a receipt.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, no, no. They have a receipt. They actually want the stuff. They stole a bunch
What?
of stuff they already purchased. See? Now what they did, so they purchased the stuff. Okay? They purchased the stuff from store number 2. Okay? And then what they do is they steal the exact same stuff from a different store and then bring
Mm.
that stuff in the receipt back in and then you return it and you give them their money back. So in essence, they got all of that stuff for free and they get to keep it because they have the products here, they have a receipt here, you're giving them their money back, but really they actually stole from the company, right? This is actually a hustle and like this is not just something bad. Like people do this. And some retail stores started actually tracking it. So, for example, when they started doing loss prevention, you have hire a loss prevention company to come in and start analyzing your thefts and losses and stuff. And they'll see that, oh, it's weird how a dress that went missing in size small from this mall suddenly got returned at this store over here. That's strange, right? Like, and you start putting the two and two together and realize that that's what people are doing. And actually, they start tracking it, and it's the same woman with the same, often with a stroller. And see, that's the thing too. A lot of people, only racist people target young teens and black teens and whatever. Intelligent people understand that it's normally middle-aged and older people that are really stealing stuff. And it's normally the people that I guess you wouldn't expect. They're the innocent looking ones. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so people with strollers, very, very high. I remember when I started working for this company called Ricky's, it sells like, we'll say, middle age, like we'll say my age and up, kind of, so like 35 and up, but not too old work gear, right? So, but it's kind of, kind of new, kind of snazzy, but definitely still professional, right? For the professional woman.
Mhm.
And so I remember this lady came in, and she had her stroller, her double stroller, two kids sleeping in it and whatever. There were really kids in there. She's like a middle-aged white woman, and she's whatever. And I remember my manager said, keep an eye on her. And I'm like, what? Why would I keep an eye on that woman? There was a much younger girl in there, maybe 21. Did not look like she belonged to be in there. Definitely didn't look like she could afford anything in the store, honestly. And I was like, why would I keep an eye on the one right here with the babies? What's she gonna do? Run with her her double buggy? Like, I'm confused. And she said, no, as far as loss prevention is concerned, people with strollers are always the highest risk. They're normally the ones who are stealing. They've got a bunch of bags already inside of the stroller. They got the baby bag, they got the two babies, and people overlook them. And so they know that that's the perfect hustle. And so they come shopping at a lunch hour, even. So they don't even try to like make sure the store is overcrowded and whatever, because they know that they're overlooked, and they can get away with sometimes stealing thousands of dollars from the mall, thousands. So they're always like priority number one. Every time you see someone come in with a stroller, watch her. And I'm like, really? Okay. Every time you
Wow.
see an old lady with a purse, watch her. Really? Yeah. Okay. And it's not even like, oh well, it was these women we're talking about, oh well, they were the black ones. Nope. The white women, she was like, yeah, no, it's normally the white women. You can tell they're stay-at-home moms and stuff like that. They're bored. They want to thrill. They want to rush. They don't even need it. They can afford everything. They want to steal. It's like, oh,
Yeah, I've who told me that? I don't remember who it was, but it was some wisdom. They said it's not even about people stealing because they need it. They do it because of the opportunity to do so. And I'm like, huh? And I thought
that's
about it because they were I think they were speaking of it's some actress. She
yeah,
goes to the store,
Winona
she's
Ryder. Hmm.
okay.
Yep.
And I thought about that. I said, that makes sense. I'm like, it's weird, but yeah, okay. And there are people that do that. It's not even because they need it, just the opportunity. And I'm like, wow. Now, some of the things you've mentioned, um, I guess you have to get in the mindset for me to, to really fathom that. That's why it's just so surprising. Now the buggy, the stroller. Only reason I know about that is because I've seen it in action. That's the
Mm,
only reason. But to actually think that, to do that, maybe if I was in need, struggling, then yeah, maybe I'll come up with that.
hmm.
But the stealing from one store to the next and have the receipt, that one is a new one. I have no idea how you do that one. No
Hmm.
idea. I've even had opportunity where I got some rain checks. I'm like, ooh, rain checks. I love these. And I got some rain checks so I can buy the item I want at the discounted price when I'm ready to buy it. And at that time, I was in a real tight budget at that time. So that's as far as I've gone, but just actually just to steal. Um, I'm glad I've never experienced that, type of poverty that I had to do so.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, like I said, is a lot of the people who are stealing, the
Hmm.
large majority of kleptos are not in need. They're not in poverty. They want for nothing. They could totally afford to buy all of those things. They're doing it for the rush or the thrill, like Winona Ryder. She's what at that point her career was doing pretty decent, and yet
Hmm.
she didn't get caught for shoplifting once. It was multiple times. It was an addiction. They're saying, but why? It's like you need the rush. You want to feel bad. You want to feel like you're getting away with something. You want to feel like you're walking on the wild side of danger, whatever foolishness,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean, you do see, right, like that couple, there was a couple, and it was like I'll say relatively young Black couple. And I remember I felt and I said, like, I cannot believe you brought your kids to the dollar store and walked around with them as you were stealing. Like, you are Black people in America. You know what the consequences are of us committing any crime. If they could
Hmm.
always end in death, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how could you take your kids into a store to do that? And, I was really outraged by it. And, people brought up the poverty argument at that time. And I'm like, I don't know. They don't really look impoverished to me. I mean, you see when people, they kind of look dirty, they look a little scruffy around the edges at the very least. The kids look like they're wearing clothes, but those clothes don't exactly fit them because it just had to be whatever hand-me-downs. Or, they grew out of their clothes. I'm like, nah, everyone looks pretty well groomed, pretty well cared for, all things considered.
Hmm.
And that's what you see. You normally see people who are really in abject poverty. They're not walking around stealing trinkets and stuff, like they might steal food because they're starving. Because when you are in abject poverty, when you're in real need, the only thing you can care about and think about are essentials. You're not thinking about little trinkets and doodads, except for maybe Christmas time. Maybe around Christmas time, maybe for a kid's birthday, you might be thinking, God, I don't want my kid to go without again. But generally, like, what you're thinking about some Bed Bath or some Bath and Body Works lotion while your children are starving? Seriously, probably not, right? Like, thinking about a fancy new dress to wear it on that date you can't afford while you're starving to death? Probably not. And that's what you see. It's normally people who aren't. They're not like, oh my God, without this dress, I'm literally gonna die because that job interviews live or die and I don't have any clothes for it. Like, it's never those types of situations. It's always some stupidness when you hear they're talking about these things. I actually went once and sat in a courtroom and I was waiting for my cousin's case to come up. And I was in that courtroom all day before his case finally came up. And so, you get to listen to all the reasons why people committed the crimes that they commit, right? And
Hmm.
here in Canada, everyone's trying to tell a sob story to try to appeal to, the human kindness that we have here. So everyone's trying to tell the judge some type of sob story, hoping that theirs is the one that's going to matter. And so you get to hear people's reasons for stuff. And most of the time, that what you hear is, I was so stupid, Your Honor. I wasn't thinking about all the people that I would hurt with my foolish actions. I was trying to be young again, Your Honor. I knew I couldn't afford the dress I wanted, so I was going to get this one instead, Your Honor. It's always something dumb. It was never something like, like, no one ever says something that you're like, oh, I kind of get it, ever. It's always stupidity and always from middle class people who, they want to live outside their means. They want to walk on the wild side again. They want to feel young. They want it's always something dumb that people are willing to risk everything for,
Yeah.
at
Oh,
least in my experience.
I know I would have liked to talk to Miss Ryder and say, you had your fun or whatever. Look, girl, you can afford this. I tell you what, buy me some. How about that? Could you buy me some, girl? You go ahead and do your thing, but since you got the money, and I would like one of them too. So tell you what, you buy me one. Let's do that legit. And then for what you want, go ahead and steal. Hopefully you won't get caught this time. Go ahead. See you later. Of course, that
Hmm.
wouldn't happen. They wouldn't buy you nothing. They would just say, go on, kick rocks, get on out of here. But it still would have came to mind. I still would ask. I still would
Yep.
have asked. They're like, this lady crazy. No, I just decided that. You like stealing? I thought maybe you might like giving too. Hey, give me one
Hey,
now.
at least pretend you're a little bit Robin Hood like, right? Yeah, steal from the rich, get to the poor, blah blah. Big corporations, blah blah. But as you pointed out, and here's a big point that people fail to realize, right? Is these people, these mega conglomerates, the Walmarts and the Kmarts and whatever of the world, they start off super, super cheap, and we know this. And
Right.
then, when we look at it 10 years later, we go, oh, these rip-off con artists, the quality of stuff didn't get better, but they're charging us an arm and a leg for it now. It's because they're so greedy and they want to be multi-gajillionaires. That's true, but they always wanted to be multi-gajillionaires, and they always were. They're not going to take out of their bottom line to make sure everyone else can eat because they don't care, right? So, given that, then do you think that it's because one multi-gajillion is not enough? They need two multi-gajillion? No, that's not what's happening, right? That's not why they're raising prices. They raise prices because of shrinkage. If you haven't worked in retail, shrinkage is people stealing your stuff, basically, in a
Hmm.
nutshell. So I purchased, let's say, 100 pieces. That's what my inventory should be, 100 pieces. I sold 50 pieces, so therefore I should have 50 pieces left on my shelves to sell, right? Oh wait, no, I only have 20 pieces. That means 30 of them magically disappeared, i.e., were stolen. Okay, well, I have to make up that cost somehow, right? Now, if it
Okay.
happens once as a one off, it's like, all right, maybe it won't be too bad. But when you think about that, if your total store is 100 pieces and you lose 30% of that, you're passing that cost on to the consumer, because what you got to do if you want to make your money plus your profit, then you got to up your prices to make up for all of that stuff that people stole. So a whole bunch of people got stuff for free, and everyone else is now going to pay 30% more on everything to make up for the 30% of stuff that y'all got for free because you stole it. And
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So that happens once. Oh, all of a sudden everything in the store is now about 10-15% more expensive, and you're like, oh, that kind of sucks, but it's okay. But if this keeps happening over 10 years, well, now you can understand why it is that Walmart is more expensive than some regular stores, which blows my mind, by the way, that now Walmart is not a cheap option for like any item,
Isn't that something?
right? Like, that was the greatest thing about Walmart, was it might not be the best thing, but it's the cheapest bang for your buck. Kind of the quality's I, but man, that price. So you're gonna go there because and that's how they drove a bunch of people out of business too, right? A bunch of mom and pop type shops got driven out of business because they couldn't compete with Walmart pricing.
Yeah.
But now they could. Now they could compete with Walmart pricing, because honestly, their pricing, even with inflation and whatever, would still be cheaper. Like, I swear to God, I went to go buy a garbage can, just a normal, nothing special garbage, to put it in my kitchen, and the things were no less than $30 Canadian for a garbage can at Walmart. I was died. I'm like, $30? I remember when I wanted to buy my first one back in 2007, and the thing was like $9.99. Tell me why I can't find that exact same garbage can at Walmart for less than $29.99 now. It's the same garbage can. And I bought it. It was $9.99. How is it $20 more expensive
Right.
from
What's
Walmart?
what's going on? But yeah, I've heard that a lot of their prices has gone up. I have heard that.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard about it. I don't I haven't shopped there because they used to be far away. The Walmarts used to be, you have to go forever to get there. And I'm like, okay, that was fine at the time. Sometimes, depends on what you were buying. Then they started with the super Walmart. Those were even further away to get to. So I think I went to one of those superstores maybe once. I'm like, this is not even worth it. And then they started making the Express. That's when they started having some issues financially. So they made a bunch of these Walmart Express. They didn't do well, and then they end up closing most of those. Then they closed the rest of those, and then they closed some their regular ones. Closed some of them. So I'm like, okay, so what's going on? Because I'm not even really shopping there. Maybe once a year, I just go with a friend, and I'm like, what's going on? But I didn't know they were having issues because now their prices have increased some, and then other people are competing with them. So I'm like, okay, I get it. But I had started off talking about Amazon and how you can get pretty much everything there. I know furniture, no
Mhm.
bicycles. I said next thing it'll be a car. I wouldn't be
True.
surprised. I would not be surprised.
I bet you could. I mean, have you tried? Because I
I,
would.
I have not, but I was looking for furniture and I got something through there. So I'm not surprised if cars are next. I'm like, okay, they got everything else, and it's terrible. You got a shopping cart, a wish list. You got all those things that you can put. You can just look for days on Amazon and just get carried away because this will come
Hmm.
up, that'll come up,
Oh
and they
yeah.
know how to get you. They and then they'll show you on the side a little advertisement. Hey, you remember me?
Yep.
You were looking at
Yep.
me about what, a day ago?
Hmm.
Hey, buy me today.
Right. Gonna stalk you around the internet now. Everywhere you go, what are the ads that are showing you? That thing you wanted on Amazon. Still want it? You know
You
you love it. It's more shiny on this page, isn't it? Why don't you click here? Right?
go ahead and get it today. You were looking at it just the other day. Oh, you gonna ignore me today? Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Don't worry
Right?
about
Yeah.
it. And what happens? There it is. You'll get an email from them.
Hmm.
Check this out.
Yeah. Did you remember you had this in your waiting list? I'm just wondering. You wish for it. It's still here. Right? Like, or this thing on your wish list has changed prices and went on sale, and then you look, it's like 67 cents off, right? But
Right.
I don't know. It's still a savings. Better buy now before they're all gone.
Yeah, and that's one thing that they pride themselves on. They watch your activity. They count many, how many minutes or hours or whatever you're on their website. They take all that in consideration, and it does work. They found that it works. So
Oh yeah.
they're successful when it comes down to that. I'm still getting, even though I bought the furniture, I'm still getting the darn advertisement from the actual store because I went to the site where they actually have got the futon from. I'm like, let me just see. And I was checking around, and that darn thing, I still get the advertisement. I'm like, I wish they would stop. I'm tired of
Mm,
seeing a futon on the side of my email every time I look up. I'm tired of
right. Right.
it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I was because my mom's birthday is coming up, so I was like, oh, what, wouldn't it be nice if maybe I did something with like her birthstone. Out of all the gifts I've got my mom, I never really considered getting her like a birthstone thing, right? Like a ring or a necklace, something. And so I said, well, Amazon might be a good place to start with that. We already talked about my millennial laziness. It's perpetual. So the less I have to move to buy something, the better. But also, me and walking don't necessarily, go well. So I was like, okay, let me check out Amazon. And Amazon, I'm telling you, Shar, I never thought in a million years that you could buy a $30,000 anything from Amazon, but apparently you can. Apparently, you can buy a $30,000 ring that looks just like a $20 ring from Amazon. You can. It's incredible, and it makes me wonder. It's listed at $30,000. Is it still listed at that price because they got someone to buy it for $30,000 already? And
Wow.
right, I just want to know. I inquiring minds would like to know, if you had $30,000, would you really buy it off of Amazon, or would you not go into, I don't know, one of these fancy schmancy stores like Tiffany's or something to buy it? You know what I mean? For
Hmm.
$30,000, I would have it custom made, custom picked by whoever invented Tiffany's for $30,000. Like, my God, I was dying. So anyway, so of course now, instead of actually looking for things I'm ever gonna buy, I went and I sorted the list so it was most expensive first, right? Because I wanted to see, was there only one? Oh no, there's so many ridiculously overpriced things with their birthstone. So I was looking at all those things. So now what's stalking me across the internet are $40,000 pendants and $30,000 rings and stuff. And I'm like,
Oh,
making it even
wow.
worse because I'm still looking for her real gift, right? And so
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, well, now you're looking at your little, $50 thing, which is a lot of money to me these days. And I'm like, oh, in comparison to the $40,000 pendant, doesn't feel like much, right? It kind of feels like I'm being cheap with my $50, but it's like, so they're taunting me from the corner, like, God, go
All right.
away.
Here I am. Look at me.
I wonder how you get rid of these things. Like, there's got to be some way of getting rid of it. There's got to be, right?
Well, when I clicked on the ad, it just says, you don't like this? And they ask you why, but that was it. I didn't, nothing on there said, you want us to go away?
Oh,
Nothing like that.
oh, so they just want to know if you like it or not, but that doesn't mean anything at all. Got it. Okay.
Right.
No, I hate it. Oh, well, that's good to know. Anyway, enjoy your ad, ma'am. Thank you for shopping Amazon. Wait, what? No, no, get rid of it. I don't want it.
Right.
Uh, you know what? I mean, I will guess that in the next 5 years or so, that those predictive ads and those predatory ads basically that they've got going on are going to be so good and effective at updating themselves that, like, when you just think something quietly to yourself about something you might want to buy, you're going to turn on the internet and it's going to suggest that thing to you in all of your ads. Like, it's just going to know. It's just going to understand based on your thought processes over the last 5 days that this is the next most likely thing for you to buy. And it's going to suggest it. It's going to be crazy. I'm positive that Google is just that stalkerish these days. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they come to get us. They're like, dun, 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 dun. Like, who is that? Google, come to get
Mm-hmm.
you. That's too much. Um, I'll show it. I'll probably show it tomorrow. The customer I think that actually just went too far. Um, because I'm one for a bargain. Like I said, I like bargains. Now, as far as with the coupons, they're not really worth purchasing the Sunday's paper anymore because you don't get a lot of manufactured coupons like you used to.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them also are digital. So they'll come in the app of the actual store. So you don't even need a
Right.
physical coupon. So I'm like, man, I don't like all that. I miss my coupon days, cutting the coupons, but it is what it
Mm-hmm.
is. Everybody has cut. I mean, everyone. They just cut back.
Yeah.
So, um, toothpaste, I didn't even have to pay money for toothpaste and toothbrushes. And all that came to a halt in 2017, I would say.
Mm.
Definitely 2018. They cut all that out. They're like, you're going to pay something, lady. So all those $1 coupons and $2 coupons, they were cut in half, 50 cents,
Mm.
75 cents. I'm like, what is this? This is not
Mm.
free. And then you had to pay tax on top of it. I'm like, but wait a minute, I don't want to pay tax on zero. How do you pay tax on zero?
Oh, they'll find a way. Yep.
Oh,
No.
oh yeah, they found a way. Get item marked down to $1. You give them $1 coupon. They take the dollar off. It says zero subtotal, and then it got taxed. Okay, we
Mhm.
owe you us 11 cents. How?
You know what they'll do, right? Is so I figured it out. This is how they do it. So instead of giving you the discount before tax, they apply the discount after tax, technically. So what they'll do is, regardless, they charge you the tax anyway. So even if they'll charge you the tax on the full cost of the item. So and like, let's say something is $50, right? And your sales tax is 10%, right? But they're going to give you 50% off of it, right? They're not going to charge you 10% off of $25. They're going to charge you the sales tax off of the $50. So you're still paying that $5 sales tax on it. But yeah, it's $25 plus $5 sales tax. Wait, how? That's like That's a lot more. That's 25% sales tax. No, 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 no. That's what do you mean? How are you confused, ma'am? Well, I'm confused because I thought I was getting 50% off, and you take the discount off and then you charge the tax. Oh, no, 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 no. They charge you the tax and then take the discount off. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
they're doing
I
now.
do.
Anything to
I
make
do
a
not
buck.
appreciate it.
No.
I do not appreciate that at all. At all.
Mm-mm.
Something else they done too when it comes down to that. Let me think. Tax, half off. Um, I'm trying to think. Oh, they tried, and the key word is tried. For the state tax of Illinois, I think it was the year of 2008, I think, somewhere around there, 2008 or 2007. They started charging um, tax for your online purchases. And even if you did not, according to them, because that's what the form said, even if you did not purchase anything online, you still have to put no less than $15. And I'm like, how are you going to do that? Because you can't prove, and there's, a lot of people that file taxes that do not buy anything online. Not everyone purchased something online in the entire state of Illinois, but they made everyone put $15 there. And trust me, I was trying to push against the system. I could not figure out a way of getting out of that at all. Because if I could, I would have. I'm like, how are you going to do this? Even though I was one to use the internet, I was just thinking about the other people. I'm like, how are you going to do some mess like this? And how do you come up with $15? That's the other
Mm.
thing. What kind of mess is that? But they did that the first year. The second year, they did it. The third year, it changed. And I forgot exactly how it changed. And then year four it just disappeared.
Mm.
So probably since it's not a line, they did something. Because trust me, they getting some money some kind of way. I just don't know exactly how. It
Mm.
could just be through your cell phone bills, but that's actually a Chicago thing. So I'm like, how they gonna do it there? Um,
Mm.
but unless it's your utility, now they will charge you extra fees on your utility bill.
Right.
So they might have made it up there. I'm not for certain, but they sure did have it where you had to. You didn't
Mm.
have a choice. They put
Mm.
that on the state income taxes. I'm like, wow. So that's when I started figuring out, okay, I'm about to leave Illinois. This is getting ridiculous.
Oh yeah. No, they find a way. Um and that's the thing that people don't recognize, right? Is like, again, no one cares about your feelings, no one cares about your pocket, no one cares about how full your cupboards are. Um they find a way to get your money. They find a way to give you savings in one area so you feel like you're winning, but then just take it back from you somewhere else. So one way or the other, you're still paying it. Like, even if they sneak it into the gas tax, transportation tax, they will find some way of making sure they get their money back. And for you, if you were one of those people who never got the saving to begin with, because the thing that, people were getting savings on is not something that you were partaking in anyway, really feels like a ripoff, because now they're just taking extra money from you. It's like, well, I never won for you to be right. So, well,
Right.
what is this extra money I'm losing now? This isn't fair. Someone give me my money back. Can I get a coupon or a voucher that says I never saved nothing to begin with? No, any
Okay.
right? I'm just saying, please.
And I'm gonna have to follow up with a friend of mine because she plays lottery. I don't. And if anyone can recall, the state of Illinois was holding off payments for
Mm-hmm.
those who won. And I think it was a particular amount. I think if you won over either it was $500 or $1,000, they had a hold on paying you your winnings.
Oh.
And I don't know what happened. That was a little while ago. That might have been like 2018, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Um, but I don't know what happened.
Hmm.
I do not recall. because so much was. It seemed like a lot of things were going on with the state. I think Jesse Jackson Jr. wife went to jail, or we just had a whole lot of stuff going on
Right.
with the police shootings, and it was just something back to back to back to back. So it was kind of hard to keep up. And then I lost cable in last year because it used to be included in our building complex, and then they decided that hey, something they had to cut back. So they're like, well, we're gonna cut the cord on cable. So get your own, lady and gentlemen. So that's what ended up happening, and I ain't really had a TV since. So I still
Mm,
own it. It's just I'm not using it because
right.
if I got to pay $80 a month, I don't care what class I was in, middle class, upper class. I'm not paying no money for no TV because I do mostly everything online. I
Hmm.
can just log on. Oh, let me see what's in the news. Log
Right.
on. Oh, that's what. Oh, okay. Anything I miss, I just miss. But shoot, go online. All you need that internet connection. Hey, you straight.
Hmm.
Movies. There's always a go around for that. But for me, um, I would go to library. I'll get a whatever movie they got. I can get something there. Um, people will share their accounts with you. It's always a way around. So I'm like, I'm not paying for that.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, that's why I have smart TVs, right? So I kind of already knew as it was that I was going in that direction because I didn't really watch cable, primarily because honestly, I wasn't into the commercials. Like, and I also wasn't
Hmm.
into having to wait. I would rather wait until an entire season's done and just watch the whole thing at once. So, like, I would set my PVR to record whatever show it was that I liked every week, and then wait until it was done and watch it all together. Because I just didn't like to have to wait. I'm a very impatient person that way. I run through when
Oh,
yeah, like when the new season of whatever comes out, I just sit here and I don't do anything else but watch it till it's over. So it normally will only take me if it's only 12 episodes, I'm done that in a day, easy.
right.
Yeah, easy. Like I will wake up, start it, and before dinner time it's done. And then if it's like a longer one, which this is very very rare that it's 24 episodes, 40 minutes each. Those ones might take me 2 3 days. Only because eventually you've got other things in life to do.
Right.
So right, but yeah, no, I knew I was going this direction anyway. So the next time I had to buy TV, I think the first time really was we bought a TV in 2014 maybe, and that was a smart TV. And then from there, every TV has been like a Roku TV, which is still like a version of smart TV. And so when I officially cut off cable, I still watch TV all the time. I just by TV I mean I'm watching Netflix on my TV, I'm watching YouTube on my TV. So I still have the TV viewing experience, but it's all internet. Like I don't watch anything but internet. And I think TV, most stations are starting to get wise to this, so they are offering whatever station, Fox or NBC or whatever, as a channel you can kind of subscribe to on Roku, and then you pay like a monthly fee to have access to it, and then it allows you to have access to all their TV shows, a couple things that are running live, so on and so forth. So eventually, I think
Yeah.
real cable is going to become obsolete at some point.
Yeah. I'm sure the day is coming. And people will talk about they'll gather around a campfire and talk about the old times. And old times were, do you remember when we used to um have an appointment for cable for someone to come out and they gave us that window of 10 to 2? Oh yeah, I remember that those days, and they didn't come to 3 o'clock. And you took off that day, don't you remember? Yeah, I missed a whole day pay.
Hmm.
Ooh, them days are gone. Pass me that
Right.
marshmallow. That's where
So
we
true.
are headed. The things that really not that long ago, but it's gonna seem so long ago because you're gonna forget about it because it's not around you. It's like cable. What's that? You know,
Hmm.
I don't even hear a lot of people advertising for Dish anymore. I used to hear that word shoot every day. It had nothing to do with washing your dishes. Dish,
Right.
get Dish, Dish Network, Dish, Dish, Dish is the way to go. Like them
Yep.
sports, get Dish, Dish, Dish. Buy a phone,
Hmm.
get half Dish free. It was
You know,
always something.
that is true. You know what? I will say though,
Hmm.
that satellite has not, it's not completely gone. But it depends on where you live. So if you live in an inner type city, if you live like basically somewhere where there's a lot of technology because like a lot of people live there, then you're never going to hear it anymore. But if you live like on the outskirts, so you live like, I don't know, for us it's up north, or just on the outskirts where there's not a lot of technologies, not a lot of cell towers and stuff like that. That's where satellite is still a really prominent kind of feature that's being sold, because everything is still not as accessible. So even
Hmm.
your internet access is normally slower, lower. I do believe that some of these satellite type companies are offering internet as well through their satellite services somehow. I don't know how that works. But yeah, so it is relevant, but I think what they've done is they stopped wasting money trying to sell it to people like us who live in the cities because we're never
Hmm.
ever going to get it ever. What are we doing with it? Right? And they
Yeah,
just push it towards people who are on in these outskirt towns and stuff like that.
yeah. That I would say because that used to. I'm telling you, every other commercial on television, every flyer, every commercial on the radio, Dish, Dish, Dish. I'm like, it was worse than Aflac, Aflac. It was worse than hearing that. But they really been they stopped pushing that. So I'm like, that's good. It quiet down. I appreciate that. Now I'm hearing that Apple, which is Crew's favorite device, they have a credit card, and I didn't look into it or anything. I did get an email, I remember, and I didn't click on it yet. But they're offering a credit card now. Um,
Mm.
also, now this I did click on. They're saying that the new iPhone, let me see, was it 11? The 11 Pro, because that's what I had my eye on. I said if I have to replace mine or the day I have to replace it, maybe I'll get that one. And they're saying that the 11 Pro is emitting a lot more of the um, rays than that's necessary,
Oh.
and the radiation. I'm like, wow. I said, I'm gonna have to do some
Mhm.
more research on that. And they mentioned something about the 5G. So I just connected. I'm like, okay, I know that's the direction that we are in
Mhm.
with the 5G, and nothing you can do about it. But if there's something going on, which I plan to do some research on, what can you do to protect yourself?
Right. Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
everything is, I understand everything want to be improved. You want it faster, stronger, all that. I get it. And every place you're going, you got these cameras, you got neon lights, you got this, places open longer. Um, you got your what is that? Satellite when it comes down to the times of the buses, your Ubers, your Lyft, and all these type of things. Everybody using Wi-Fi and satellite and everything else. So I'm just wondering how dangerous can it be? Can it get?
You know, I this one I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna say like that it's complete bullshit, but I will say
Hmm.
that I think it's more along the trends of the microwave when there was a period of time where everyone was positive that the microwave was going to irradiate and kill everybody in their houses. It's just that was it.
Hmm.
Like Basically, everyone was about to come down with cancer and die. If you got this microwave thing, you were as good as dead. And there are still people who kind of have that belief because, they had a parent telling them this when they were a kid. So it's like, well, I shouldn't stand in front of the microwave while I'm pregnant because, the radiation's bad for the baby. And it's like, that's not how the microwave works. But there was a period of time where, everyone was really afraid of it. And, so I think I kind of think that, these some of these technological jumps, we're going to have those initial fears for the same reason,
Mm-hmm.
that it's like, well, you hear the word radiation and then you think of worst case scenario, and we don't really understand all these sciencey terms, and there is, I guess there's good radiation, bad radiation, radiation that gets passed on to humans and kills us, and radiation that doesn't, or like, some of the stuff must be good. A little bit of sun is good for you, gives you some vitamin D. Too much sun gives you skin cancer. Is it, good radiation and moderation? Like, I think that's the thing. We need more people who understand these terms like really well enough that they can, dumb it down and speak to us in words we all understand, and then explain it. You know, explain to me why it is that I'm not concerned about my microwave and it doesn't kill us. Like, right? And then show me how the technology works as far as like, how is it similar to
Uh-huh.
cell phone stuff, or,
Yeah.
to TV stuff? Like, explain it to us so we can actually understand it, and,
Right.
we're not. Is it okay for my 2-year-old really to be playing with these cell phones and knowing them better than me? I don't know.
Right. And what makes it so more powerful than a Kindle or a regular tablet or any of these devices?
Right.
Explain it. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm with you on that. I definitely agree with you. It would be nice
Exactly.
to know.
Right. Like, I know when I worked in cellular, right? Because I did. And back in those days, we had two different technologies. So we had like, well, there was three. There was analog, and then there was GSM, and then there was CDMA. And so it was like, okay, what the hell are these terms and what do they mean? And so, back then I learned those terms, right? But now instead of having those breakdowns, nothing really is an analog anymore. That's why we don't have like those mics and those walkie-talkie type phones. Um, and now we don't really have CDMA anymore. Now everything is GSM. Well, what does that mean? Oh, well, it's basically our Gs, our 2G, 3G, 4G, the now 5G, right? But,
Hmm.
you know, did I even understand back then when I worked in cellular exactly what that was? Not really. I understood that these are the three different technologies we were working with. I understood the pros and cons of each for, okay, where were you working? Where did you live? Where were you going to need to use this phone? And then recommending the right one for you. But like, did I actually understand it? No. And I worked in cellular back then. So, I think that, yeah, I would have been a specialist in this area and I don't understand it. So I can't even imagine for someone who didn't have the training I had, like it means even less to you. It means even less to the average person, right? So it's like, yeah, no, that is definitely something. Hey, listen, you tech people, if you're listening right now, you tech people, you need to get on this. You guys can start a whole channel just dumbing it down for the average person, all of this stuff. And we would totally listen because most of us aren't really sure what's killing us and what's not these days when it comes to technology. And we'd like to know. Inform
Yeah.
us. Let us know. Just saying. Oh,
Yeah. Give me the 411.
exactly. Okay. So I actually had a question for you. A friend of mine said she can't be here, but she is going to listen later. And she wanted to know your input on this.
All
Okay.
right.
So, now she has had a situation where she has been with this gentleman. I think we might have talked about the situation before, but so she has been with her now ex-fiance for God, it must have been 12-ish, 12, 13 years, because since her daughter was maybe 3 and now she's about 17 going on to 18. So
Mhm.
a long time. And they now have 2 children together. One's like 7-ish, the other one's like 3-ish, about give or take. And things have not really been great for a very long time. And but they keep kind of, well, we'll just be around each other for the kids. And then one night of drinking, and then oops, there's another kid. Stuff like that happened. And so, but this time it's really over. And you know, he's the one who's kind of taking it, I'll say, hard, and he's the one who's kind of doing the what we kind of associate more with women, where it's like they don't really want to, no, like they don't really want to believe it's over. Love will prevail somehow. Stalking your every move to see what you're doing, and then the love me and destroying property and just crazy stuff, right? Little crazy things, but you know as much as they've broken up, they were still staying inside of the same house. She was trying to be like, okay, well, listen, I'm the one who pays all the bills here. So all you got to do is just, get a job finally, save up some money. And I'm giving you lots of time to do that. So just do that. Which, of course, he wasn't really doing that because he had no intentions of honestly really ever going anywhere, because the way he saw it was they were never breaking up for real, even though they've been broken up for a year. Not the point. So finally, enough was enough. Some insane, yet another insane situation happened, Valentine's Day weekend, and she finally had enough of trying to be the nice guy and trying to be the understanding one and blah, 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 and said, you know what, forget it, get out. Oh, you don't have anywhere to go? Well, you've had about a year to work that out. So not my problem, get out, because this is toxic for the children. It's starting to spill over and affect the children negatively, and your treatment of them negatively too. And like, this is just, figure it out. Figure it out, because it's not my problem. She finally figured out to just say, not my problem. You're a grown up. You can do this. I got you a job. She actually went and got him a job. Like, she went and lied and created this fake, like, she's really good at doing this. But creating a resume that's perfect to get that job that pays a decent amount of money, and walked him through everything he should say in the interview and whatever. He got this job. It's a decent job that he actually likes. So he's been working for a little bit now. Like, he's set up on his way, but then instead of course, saving up his money, he's blowing it on nothing and just stupid stuff and whatever. So, but she was like, listen, it's that simple now. You've done something that is bad enough, and I don't want to call the police on you. I don't want to be in a position where yet again the police are getting called by the neighbors over something insane you're doing, and then children's aid's being called on us and blah blah blah. You need to go figure it out, right? And of course, he has a mom, he's got a grandma, he's got people who could be there for him. He's even got friends, but he just really just didn't want to go. That's why he pulls on the heartstrings. I have nowhere to go, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now we get to where we're at this week.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the problem. So the way he sees it is he should be allowed to come by the house as much as he wants to hang out with his children inside of her house. Whereas in her thing is, I will even drop the kids off to you. You don't even have to pick them up. I will drop them off to you as much as you want them. But you cannot come and sit in here and hang out with them inside of my house every day or every weekend or as much as you want, because now we're not together. I think it's confusing for the kids, but more importantly, it's uncomfortable for me too, which of course makes them uncomfortable. Like, you now are going to be living somewhere else. He's staying with his grandmother. It's not like
Okay.
he's staying in some dangerous place. He's staying in his grandmother's. He feels that his grandmother's place is too small, and there's not enough room for them to all sleep, which might be a fair point, which is why she said, I'll drop them off at the start of the day for you. I will come pick them up before bedtime. So it'll be fine. You want me to do that every day? I want me to drop them off every day so you can have dinner with them? I will drop them off and pick them up for you. But no, you're not hanging out here. And he thinks that basically she's being an unreasonable, difficult, you know what.
Mm.
So her question is, do you think she's being reasonable or unreasonable? And if she's being unreasonable, then is there a better option than he can just show up and hang out here for 15 hours a day whenever he wants to see his kids? Because that's crazy.
Mm. Well, it would have been great if she would have done this a long time ago, but that's not
Mm.
where we are. So this is where we are.
Right.
And now that this is where we are, um, they can go to grandma's house because they'll at least they have shelter. They get some time with grandma as well. As
Hmm.
well, they're young children, and they can play Indian and whatever. They can play outdoors tent, anything. They can put a little pallet on the floor, and all three of them can sleep on there. They're young kids. They're gonna enjoy their time with their dad. They'll be fine. Going right on
Thank
over
you.
to their grandma house.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. And I mean, that's what I thought too, right? I'm like, I don't actually, I do think it would be a lot more difficult on the children if he kept showing up, being there for hours and then leaving. Um, because then it would be like, okay, so you guys getting back together? Like, why is he here all the time if you're not getting back together? I don't understand. I think it would be harder on them than keeping that line clear that like no, mommy and daddy aren't together anymore, so that's why daddy's not here all the time anymore. But you can see him as much as you want. All you got to do is let me know or call daddy or daddy calls me. Either way, like she's not trying to be a roadblock. She's not trying to say, well, you can only see them once a month and blah blah blah, and he has a problem with that. She's saying, I will bring them to you every other weekend. You can have them all weekend if you want, because I know that she wants her weekends too. But you want me to bring them to you during the week, I can do that too. You know what I mean? Just we'll set it up in advance and whatever. Like she's not trying to be a roadblock, but she's just saying like, in my house is not the option. And
Hmm.
of course, what he's trying to do though is again, he's trying to paint her like she's being unreasonable, like she's being unfair, like she's trying to punish him or like that kind of thing. And so I think that for her, that was her concern. She didn't want to overreact and be too close-minded just because she's frustrated by the whole situation if she really was being unfair and unreasonable. And this is something that people regularly do where they still say, yeah, sure, come on over even though we broke up yesterday, and then hang out here all day. Like maybe that's something normal people do, so just thought we would we would just double check that one. And I was like, I happen to know someone who is fantastic with giving out common sense, real advice about stuff. Um, but I mean, if we're talking about me being lazy, she's like way lazier than I am. So, and then she's got the whole 3 kids thing going on. So she was never writing anyone anything. So I said, okay, well, I'll ask for you. And then you can just, hide in the shadows and listen. Um, right. But yeah, no, I think that it's good to have the confirmation. I will say another concern that she has, right? Because she's white,
Hmm.
and her now ex-fiance is black.
Hmm.
And so, that gets used to or implied a lot. Well, it's because she's white
Hmm.
and he's black. It's because, well, this is just what entitled white women do to black men. And, stuff like that. So,
Hmm.
even though honestly, and I will say she's really not like that, but, it is a concern there as well. Like, well, is it something that again is it something people do? I don't know. Is she being unfair and unreasonable? And is there some bias sitting in her head that maybe she would treat a white man differently? Like she didn't think so. I didn't think so either. But you know it's fair to, since it was brought up, even though it was brought up just to try to make her feel bad and fall back.
Okay. Well, if he brings it up, she can tell him that when she get her a white man, and she'll let her know how that works. She'll let him know how it works out, and that way she can compare. Because right now she can't compare, so she can tell him that. Also, if she had to go as far as get him a job, then there's something going on wrong there altogether. Um,
Mhm.
it's okay they can't get along, the fires, is out or whatever. Okay, fine. But as far as a man, you take care of yourself. You would think you got children, you would take care of them. So something's going on if she had to do that much to get him employment. Um,
Yeah.
how
The
what's
sad
their
thing
age
is,
group? Are they in their 20s, 30s, 40s? How old are they?
so he is my age. Actually, I guess he would have just turned, how old am I? 35. So he would have just turned 36. And
Okay.
then she is maybe a few years younger. So maybe like, 32, 33 around there.
Okay. So they're in their 30s. So yeah, that's really no excuse. How long had he been out of work?
Uh, okay,
That's
here.
that long.
So,
Okay, that's enough right there. Too long. Um, so that's unfortunate. There was they weren't going anywhere. She just had another child, and well, not necessarily a child, but she had another mouth to feed. And you're feeding
mhm,
your children, you have to feed someone else, an adult, and they eat two, three, four times as much. Um, that's unfortunate. They're home all day. They're using electricity, water, all those things that cost money.
mhm,
Um, no woman, whatever color she is wanting to do that. That's just not normal. That's just not something that we do. Take care of an adult
right.
male that is healthy.
Mhm.
If you healthy enough to
Well,
argue and talk stuff to me, then you're healthy enough to work, earn some money, and pay your own bills. You don't even have to pay mine. Because sometimes as women, we make a mistake. We get with these guys. We
mhm,
wake up, dang, I done wasted this time. And, oh, I got some kids. Oh well, love my kids. I'm gonna keep them. Can't keep him because this ain't gonna work out, and move
mhm,
on. But what
right.
excuse does he have? He
You,
doesn't have one.
you know what? Here, okay. He has an excuse, and that's a problem though.
Oh,
Emphasis on
reason.
the word excuse.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So he does well, and you know why? And I'm gonna say because it could be a reason, but it's only a reason if it's actually true. And when I say it's true, as in it's actually preventing you from working. Whereas in, for example, because I suffer from back pain, I have empathy for people who suffer from back pain, right? I understand it can be debilitating. He has some messed up discs and stuff in his spine as well. And if that had at any point ever actually prevented him from working, and that's why he's ever left any of his jobs, well, then it would make sense. But that isn't why he's ever left any of his places of employment. So I can't say as that that's what it is. Now he does have that limitation, so I'm going to add that in. But I mean, he lives and works just fine. Um, what ended up happening is this basically in this relationship, when this relationship started, like I said, her daughter was very young, and honestly, like, she never professed herself to be, a grade A mom. When she first had her daughter, she was very young. She was like 14 when she got pregnant. And the father, as long for the time her and the father were together, he was active in her daughter's life. And then once they broke up, he started seeing someone else. His daughter became like a not even an afterthought. It was like a if you pestered him enough, he might take the time to actually show up. One of the times he said he was going to show up just to see his kid. She wasn't asking him for money, just your kid waits for you when you say I'm coming on Sunday. So when you don't show up and she spends the entire day staring out the window on Sundays for years, this is devastating for a kid. Meanwhile, she knows you have other kids that you actually bothered to spend time with because you live with them. But of course, once he broke up with that woman, he did the same thing to those kids. He's one of those guys. So that's her, like, her major ex before this. Now, what happened is when she met this guy, now she was not in a great place. She wasn't being the greatest of mothers, or really the greatest of humans, or the most functional of any of the above. And he was the functional one. for lack of better words, right? He's the one, he used to get up with her daughter and help her get ready for school and walk her to school every day and pick her up from school and walk her back home. Like, he was really the support system for her. And somewhere along the lines in this relationship, it's like things slowly started becoming even, which was good, and then they switched. But he doesn't see that they switch. So he still speaks as though it's 10 years ago and she didn't do nothing, which isn't the case. Now, half the reason why she managed to get away with not doing anything, because as we know, the system is very, very favorable towards single mothers. Even more so here, where not only are you going to get welfare per kid, but you also get what we called the child benefit monthly. So on top of your welfare, you get an additional thing that the government pays you just to help you with your kids. Everyone gets that, whether you're on welfare or not, monthly. So,
Oh,
yeah. So you could make a pretty penny just with one kid and some welfare, which is what she would do. And then when she did work, she would work things like under the table and stuff like that, right? So she was bringing in a decent amount of money sitting on her ass. And he was working pretty hard as far as things were concerned, for him to not make as much money, honestly, as she could, as white woman who people like. So customer service plus commission, blah blah blah. So it would happen that a lot of times he would end up staying home to watch the kids, because honestly she could bring in more money, but she didn't mind. It's not like he was good at that kind of stuff, and at the cooking and cleaning and blah blah blah, and enjoyed that stuff, and his bad back and blah blah. But then it was like she got pregnant with the last kid, and this is where the problems, I will say, really started, because the last kid was an accident as far as conceiving it, because they had already been on their way out the door. So now it's like, okay, well, we're going to give it, another try, because if there's another kid on the way. And he refused to start working. Just refused. Just wouldn't work. She was a very high risk pregnancy at the time, and she still had to work because he wouldn't work. She literally worked until like she was in labor, literally, and he wouldn't get a job. So now she's had this baby. She got him a job again, got him a job. And she finds really good jobs for him. So he was like the manager at one of those like Cash Money type places, right? And then he decided, I can't remember what it was. It came down to, he didn't feel like, I can't remember if he didn't want to answer to someone. Like, it was something. It was something really stupid reason why he decided to quit his job. And since then, he hasn't worked at all. So they live in a pretty nice neighborhood. It's a 3-bedroom, massive house in a new area. They're renting; they don't own, but still.
so let me interrupt you.
Mhm.
She moved after he quit his job?
No, she moved before. They moved before.
Okay.
When her parents died. At the time when her parents had died, and they were dying, they moved into the house to help take care of her mother, who was
Okay.
the last parent living. So then it was like, okay, well, now the house is going to get sold. We got to live somewhere. And it was like, okay, you know what? We've got 2 kids, another one on the way.
Hmm.
So plus the 2 of us, plus her brother and the dogs. There's a lot of people. So, okay, we got to get a bigger place, really, is what it was. And so, they found a place that had, it was a good neighborhood. There's a really good school down the road for both the oldest kids and the little kids. It was like a kind of a good thing overall, right? But it was like the plan was for her to work for a bit longer, because she was making decent money. She was doing some stuff within real estate, but for him to get a job. So that way, she gets to like 9 months, she stops working. He works for now while, she, has the baby and stuff. And he wouldn't do it. Just wouldn't do it. And,
Mm.
at that point, so she's cooking, she's cleaning, she's working. She's the only one who's bringing in any money. And what he's doing is getting angry all the time and yelling and screaming and complaining and talking to her like it was 10 years ago, except it's not. And it's kind of like, okay, I can't live my whole life like this. And she tried to talk to him, tried to work through things, but it's almost like he's stuck in the past somewhere. So as soon as you call him out on anything that he's done wrong, he just talks about all the things she did wrong before, but he doesn't say them like it was before. He says it like it's happening now, like that, right? So, like,
Oh,
well, if you didn't talk to me this way, well, because you're all drunk and blah blah blah. And she's like, you're right, that did happen 11 years ago, not
hmm.
today. So what are you talking about? Right? Like it's like that kind of,
Wow.
yeah, like he's got an anger management issue he doesn't want to deal with. He's obviously got accountability and responsibility issues he doesn't want to deal with. When he does something really wrong, he blames her or blames the kids when he's freaking out. Well, the kids should know not to do things that make me angry. What? They're they're
Yeah.
children, right?
Yeah.
Like it's,
He needs some help on whatever going on with him. He needs some help.
mm-hmm,
Um, it's unfortunately that he doesn't want to do that, and he's an adult. Nothing you can do about it, but you can make a decision yourself to get away because if that's not working for you, and it's
mm-hmm,
bad for you as the parent, mom, and it's bad for the children to see that other parent behave and do whatever it is, then
mm-hmm,
just make it safe for you and your children. And hope that dad can get some help and let dad see his children, work something out. And
right.
you don't have to get the courts or nothing involved. Just, try to work out a plan. And if he doesn't want to go through with it, say you have the first and third Saturday of the month, and he start failing at, doing that, it's nothing you can do. You couldn't work that out with them. You're like, okay,
Exactly.
well, I was there on the first, you weren't there, whatever it is. Came back to third, you did the same thing. I'm gonna now what I'm gonna do is have it where you're gonna have to call or you're gonna have to come get them yourself. So that way
Mm.
you have to make him responsible, even though that can be impossible, but the burden will be on him.
Right. Like Shar, she was driving him. I was sitting there like, what are you doing? You are infantilizing him. He's demanding it, but you're still infantilizing. He's not a child. She got him this job, and then he was refusing to take the bus. Okay. But he's the one who messed up. They had two cars, both of which she got, and then she's paying for, remember?
Mm.
And then one day in a jealous fit of rage, he messed up the second car, like messed it up, um, and then messed up and then got the car impounded. So therefore, now there's no car for him to drive. So therefore, he refused to take the bus to work. So to ensure that he kept the job so he could save up money and get the hell out of her house, she drove him to work every day. Drove him to work because otherwise
Wow.
he wasn't going. Can you imagine having to drive the father of your children who is older than you to work every day because otherwise he's stomping his foot and he's refusing to go despite the fact that there was a second car that you messed up, you broke, and then got impounded while you were driving irresponsibly and drunk.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I might have would have experienced that the first time, but I wouldn't know anything else about the rest because I'm not sending him or taking him to work. Because if he's refusing to go to work, when he gets the money, he's going to refuse to save it. So I'm not even going to waste my time with that. He's just going to have to leave the house. Um, Only her, she's the only one that actually knows the day in and day out of um, the functioning or lack of function in that household. And she's accepted a lot by choice. So, okay, fine. But, unfortunately, she didn't pull the plug soon enough. And now she has a big old grown baby that
Mm-hmm.
is um, is really throwing some tantrums, and it's a mess. It probably could have happened. She could have pulled the plug maybe even 2 years prior.
Right.
Especially I don't even know how she even got moist for him, be honest, because
Mm,
there's nothing attractive, stimulating of a guy that is pitiful.
yes.
There's
Yep.
just nothing about it. There's just nothing stimulating.
No, there's nothing at all. And the thing is that when you have somebody like that, and you've seen how far they've fallen, because it's not like he started here, right? It's one thing
Hmm.
if you signed up for the pitiful man, and then you're like, well, I'm used
Yeah.
to it. But it's like you weren't like this before, and you don't see how pathetic you've become, and he's literally become everyone and everything that he hates. There's a time where like I've heard him literally speak against all of the things that he's doing, all of them. Literally put down other men for doing what he now does. And it's like, I would never do something like that. That's not a man, that's a boy, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you're you're doing it now. Do you think it's attractive? Do you think it's attractive that you can demand that a woman broke up with you, but you're going to demand she sleeps with you and she has to hide from you inside of her house that she's allowing you to stay in because you claim you have nowhere to go, even though you have lots of places to go, but she feels bad because you're the father of her children. She's the one doing anything bad to you. Like, it's kind of like, and see, this is the thing. I actually understand part of her pathology here because
Hmm.
I have been the drunk mess, right? Like I said, I'm an alcoholic. So I have been that person that, I created so many issues. I ruined so many things and, had someone stick by me.
Hmm.
And so, then it's almost like you feel guilty in a way. You feel like you owe them something when they throw stuff in your face from 10 years ago, even though it's 10 years ago, and you're
Hmm.
trying not to claim it, you still are because it was true at some point. And so I kind of get a part of the pathology. I do. I
Yeah.
get sort of where it's coming from, but at the same time it's like, ew, right? Like I have no idea how she stayed, like you said, the last couple of years. Especially to hear there are two different perceptions of the same relationship, because last year at the start of the year he thought he was over the moon, like he thought everything was perfect between them, and then you speak to her and she's like, no, like this is everything is horrible. Like, yeah, he's happy
Yeah.
because I'm doing everything and I'm taking care of everything and whatever. I'm miserable. He's angry all the time, punches holes inside of my house and in
Oh,
the walls and
wow.
stuff. Yeah, like, and now it's trickling down to the kids. Like, I think I sent you a picture and showed you where he was mad that the kid, the middle kid, the 7-year-old, couldn't answer a question, and it was like 5 minutes before bedtime. So he was like, go to bed, because he was mad the kid wouldn't answer the question. Kid, and it wasn't like, it was like a trivia type question, right? Like,
Hmm.
what color are zebras, like that, right? And he was mad about that because he had had a long day. And so when the kid didn't immediately get up and go to bed, he slammed the recliner he was sitting on closed. You know those like heavy duty old man recliners that have the feet
Oh,
that pop out?
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So he slammed that closed quick to comfort the kid whose foot was between the leg, like the foot and the legs of the couch. So when he slammed it closed on the kid's leg and scraped
Right.
all the way down the leg, like took chunks of skin out and stuff like that. Really hurt this kid who apparently screamed and then was crying. Now, when she got the information from her eldest daughter, right, the 17-year-old,
Hmm.
and then she asked him about it because she was at work at the time. He said that that never happened.
Mm.
Oh, she's calling the 7-year-old a liar, that nothing ever happened. He didn't even make any noise. He doesn't even know when that happened. Like, he just like literally lied to her face about, like, not even saying, "Oh, it was an accident. I didn't realize his foot was there." Like, just making things up. And it's like, if you're delusional enough about your anger management issues and you're flying off the handle, I don't know if you're delusional. I don't know if now you're drinking too much that you don't remember, because he had quit drinking for a lot of years,
Uh-huh.
which was good. And he quit drinking for a lot of years because the last time he was in a drunken stupor, he woke up to glass shattered everywhere. Um, him sitting in handcuffs in a corner, and blood being everywhere, whatever, because basically he had tried to kill his fiance. I can't. She said something snippy and assholeish, yes, but his response was to try to kill her, and the only reason why she was still breathing, despite all of the bruises around her neck and stuff like that, is because she managed to kick him off of her, and he went flying through the glass table and got knocked out. The mother came down, heard the noise, called the police, and he woke up in handcuffs and whatever. And that's why he quit drinking, because he realized he had an anger management issue, especially when he was drinking. And I think
Oh, I felt something was going on, some substance. I didn't know what was going
something.
on as far as
Hmm.
was his issue, but yeah, he's gonna have to take care of himself. He has to love
Right.
himself enough. No one can do that for him,
Hmm.
and that's even a danger around the children.
Hmm.
That's I just when I said go to grandma's house, at least there's an adult there, and so that's what I was thinking about. Because as far as him being by himself, I don't know about that, but
Mm-mm.
um, that's very unfortunate. And as women, a lot of times we do let things go on, linger a little bit longer.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but and I have known women that have allowed their ex spouse to live in the house
Mhm.
until give them some time, whatever. And these are black women I know that have done so, different ages. So um, there's a lot of women that have
Oh
some
yeah.
passion, for the even if because one lady she doesn't have any children with him. So, but yeah, I've seen where women are passionate. They have some pity and a little sympathy for their ex spouse, and I do mean spouse. They were married to the guys, and
Right.
they allowed them in their house for a while. So
Mhm. Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. That's
You know what? I
unfortunately
think
she should have done that a long time ago though. But go ahead.
she should have. She should have. The problem is, and again, this is what it comes down to, is that when you pull your own shit together, right? Because we all used to drink together. That's how we were friends. And we all got sober
Hmm.
for a variety of different reasons. Um, and he stayed sober for a good long time and whatever, and she was never really an addict until she got addicted to her pain medication, coincidentally. And that happened, I'll say, about 5 6 years ago. It happened, and she actually stayed that way for a little bit. It was really rough on all of us. I mean, my friendship with her ended for a couple years over that whole period of time. I mean, it was a rough time. It was, but she
Yeah.
went, and she did eventually. She went. She got help. She was actually on methadone to get
Hmm.
off of the medication. And, she was going through this period of time where she was like withdrawing from the methadone. They kept upping her methadone. No one figured out that she was 6 months pregnant. I will show you a picture of what she looked like at 6 months pregnant later. She doesn't even look pregnant. Like, it's crazy how
Uh-oh.
skinny she
You're
was.
bored.
Oh no. Oh
You're
no. Can
bored really badly.
oh no.
Um,
Hold
I
on. Can
kind
you
of
hear me?
understood what you said. You said that she suffered for a while. They upped her methadone, and you'll show something later. So
Yeah.
uh, I did understand that, but it was boring all the time.
Okay.
So at least the audience know what you said. So go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now? Oh,
Yes.
or yeah. Okay, good. But yeah, point is that's when she found out, oh, you're 6 months pregnant with the last kid, right? And so this was the where they're like, okay, we're gonna pull ourselves together. And I think that's why, there's so much guilt that's inside of her. She feels really guilty that, she was on methadone while pregnant, because that wasn't her intention to get pregnant, and nobody, the doctors she saw weekly, didn't notice. No one noticed. But she still felt very, very guilty about it. She felt really
Hmm.
guilty about, putting her kids and even him through the addiction that she went through, she got help. She went through a program. She stayed completely clean and sober since then. And not only that, she changed everything. She became
Mm-hmm.
like this. She learned how to cook. I mean, really, I'm telling you, this woman could not cook. She could not cook. Okay, she could barely just bake something straight from the freezer, like, just throw it on. No, couldn't do that. She can cook oxtail. She can cook gray goat. She can cook food. And for the record, she's a vegetarian who does not. So she doesn't even eat the food that she cooks for the whole family, right? Because she doesn't eat meat, but she can cook. She could throw down. Oh my God, like it's real food. I can't even believe she can cook like that. She cleans now. She actually invests her time and energy with her kids. On top of that, the working, like the amount of a change that she has put in since she went through that addiction thing is like, man, she's better than she ever was, ever. And I once helped her get through all of college for 2 years. I might as well have been her, because that's how much I was there tutoring her every single day for hours. Um, so, she has changed dramatically, and it's such all the right ways. But I think that actually made things worse, because she changed in such good ways, so he no longer had any excuses. Like, she was his excuse for underachieving. She was his excuse for not working on his own anger management issues. She was his excuse for not trying to better himself. She was always his excuse. He always had something to pin on her. Well, you don't cook. Well, you don't clean. Well, you don't this. Well, you don't that. He had so many things to blame on her. And all she wanted to do really is start trying to become the perfect housewife kind of thing. And so the better she got, the angrier he got, because he no
Hmm.
longer had someone to blame everything on. And that's part of the thing. It's like, you got to recognize, like, I know, because I'm one of those people. I do that. I feel so guilty about anything I do wrong that, you can get away with bloody murder. And I'm not going to say anything because I was wrong that one time back in fall 2005, right? Like, I'm that
Oh
person.
boy.
Yeah, no. So I get it. Um, but I'm so happy. Like, you don't understand how happy I was to hear her when she said he's out of the house. Like, my body relaxed a little bit. I was positive one day he was going to kill her. One day he was going to accidentally hurt one of the kids very badly. It was
Mm.
going to be something really, really bad, because it was just trending downwards. It was like such a spiral that was going down, in such a bad way. And it's almost such a sad thing to see how, you finally get your dream come true, and she's finally pulling her shit together. And it's like, you can't deal with that. You can't deal with her getting
Yeah.
better. And I don't know why that would happen. Why,
Yeah.
how could you get so much worse when someone gets better and that's all you ever wanted? Like, wouldn't that make you want to get better too? I don't know.
No, not necessarily. And sometimes the person may not have wanted you to get better. They just wanted to use that for a reason why they were the way they were
Mm,
and do the things that they do.
mm,
That's a lot of times how it is. So, um,
mm,
that's really unfortunate, and it wasn't healthy. And she made some changes, and he needs to make some changes for himself as well.
mhm.
And nobody can do that but him.
Oh
No
yeah,
one.
nope, nope.
He,
And you can blame it on someone else all you want. That's what he does. All, oh, I've never put my hands on anyone except for you. You're the one who makes me this angry because, and like, I mean, again, he didn't like hit her all the time, but he's put his hands on her, a handful of times, and they're 10, 11 years, right? But again, it's always her fault. It's never his fault. He's never wrong. He doesn't have an anger management issue. He doesn't have any problems. When he's acting irrationally, screaming and punching holes in the walls, well, the kids should know not to do things to make him angry. That's literally, I could
baby,
not, the
this will be
baby.
me. Baby, you know what? I'm wrong. I don't know why I do this and get you upset and the kids get you up. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do better. I promise you. Tomorrow's going to be a new day. I promise you it's going to be better. And what's going to happen depends on, you know, if he goes to work or whatever, or I go to work, whatever. I wouldn't be back when he come home, or he wouldn't be able to get in when he come back. Something would have changed because when it's that physical part, that's ridiculous. What is really going on with that physical? And then you tell me I'm the reason. Well, shoot, if I'm the reason, I need to go. I need to get out your way because I want you to be a better man. So I'm going to sacrifice this relationship just for you.
Thank
How
you.
dare me get you upset? I don't want to get you. Why would I get you upset? What kind of love is that? I love you so much that I am going to leave. That's how
Yes,
much I confess my love for you. Bye.
exactly.
See
Yes,
ya.
yes.
Saranara. Arrivederci. Peace out,
Like,
fool.
right? Like that's what it is. And that's the thing that kills me. And I'm telling you, whenever I hear someone say stuff like that, well, you shouldn't get me so angry then. Wait, what? I want you to flip that around for a second. Hold on. So
He
it's
said he gonna kill
reasonable.
himself. Say that
Oh yeah.
again.
Oh, he said that too. Yeah, no. He's done that on more than one occasion. The time that he was at my house for a few months, right, sleeping on our couch, it was exactly that. He left one saying he's going to kill himself basically and disappeared for like, 17, 18 hours. So it was like me and her had made a plan at that point that, well, at least if he stays at my house, first of all, I can keep an eye on him. Second of all, though, he'll at least not be disappearing. Like we'll know where he is. And then, but then her in her very high inebriated state, she couldn't quite remember the fact that we made this plan, which is where me and her came into an issue. And I'm like, listen, me and my then fiance are babysitting yours, right? Like the least you could do is not start sitting there and being insane with your stupid self. And I could have fixed it, but I just didn't want to because I was just tired. I was just tired. Honestly, people who are like high are not fun,
Mhm.
right? They're just not. It was a really like I said, it was a difficult time, and she was a difficult person at the time. But I didn't put my hands on her. See how that works? And fair enough, I
Mhm.
didn't live with her, but it does come down to like, listen, if someone's making you that angry, where you're about to lose your whole entire mind, you're a grown ass person. It's your responsibility to take yourself and get out. Then go elsewhere. Go be elsewhere. I can't exist here. If I exist here, I'm gonna kill everyone. So I need to go exist elsewhere where I'm not going to do that. And if the risk to the kids is an issue, guess what you need to do? You need to pack your kids up while she's out doing whatever and take them with you. But what you don't do is stay in a situation that makes you the volatile, dangerous thing, right? And then run around and go, I'm gonna kill myself so you can get validation and attention. Again, just I don't know. I,
Wow.
that's what happened. Oh yeah, so much. Charlotte, like literally, we could have like a half an hour segment every single day on just
Mhm.
that relationship, and it will last us all of 2020. It was something else. It was one of those things like, man, it should have ended a long time ago. A long, like 10 years ago, should have been done. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a guest in March, March 20th, and we're going to be talking about relationships as far as what men want and how much time they need. And that sounds like something that may come up um, because
Hmm.
we are responsible for allowing these people in our lives.
Yep.
We really can't just point at the person like, well, your fault. If you allow them in your life, you don't have to.
Right.
Some people stay together and think that it's going to be all right. It's not going to.
Mm-mm.
I
Nope.
had I have this thing if this saying, and the saying is, if it hasn't worked out in 10 years, which is a decade, it's not going to.
Mm-mm.
It is not going to. And I had a friend that she just kept going on and on, and she was with her guy for 12 years and then got married to him and divorced him not long afterwards. I forgot
Yes.
how long, but If you can't get along in 10 years, do you know how long 10 years is? You could start off in your 20s and be in your 30s. You could start off in your teens, be in your late um, 20s. You could start off in your 20s and be in your 30s. You could start in your 30s and be in your 40s. Start in your 40s and be in your 50s. 10 years is a long time. And if you can't get it right, if you can't go to sleep, wake up, get mail, deal with sickness, deal with adversity, deal with all type of things that life brings, when the bills are not working out, whatever in the household, and you can't live through that within 10 years, that you constantly back and forth, it's not going to work. I promise you, you're wasting your time. Punch that clock and leave. Turn your papers
Yes.
in. It's not going to work. If you just want to just deal with that person, then that's just something on you. But it's still not going to work.
Oh my
And
God.
why I was so unfortunate that my friend, she ended up um marrying the guy.
Hmm.
And what difference did it make? It made none.
Nope.
You got the ring and got the marriage and certificate and all that. But what ended up happening? You didn't get along in the first 10 years. I do means nothing. It meant nothing. But
Mhm.
that's something that she had to decide for herself. So
You know what, Shar? I was literally just talking to my mom about this today, just talking to her about this. And we had a bunch of examples, just ones even that I know, ones that, she didn't divulge names, but, just describe the situations. Because my mom is a relationship, she's a Christian counselor, like an actual certified real counselor, though, psychology. Um, like she has a bunch of different master's levels. And, so she does a lot of relationship stuff. And this is a common thing that's actually that in the last year, a lot of relationships have come to her. And that's literally basically what it is. People who were together for a very, 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 very long time got married. And then within a few years, they're divorcing already. And we were talking about my godmother. My godmother was with her boyfriend for about 20 years. Okay. I knew she had this boyfriend. I could not have identified that man. Like, you couldn't have paid me to identify him. I had no idea what he looked like, but I saw my godmother all the time, right? Like all the time. I was at her house all the time. Apparently, the man lived there. I never saw him. I had no idea what this man looked like. She was with him for 20 years, married him, and they divorced within 2 years from the day that they got married. This is a very, very, very common thing with people who are together for a very long time and then get married. They're very, very likely to divorce very soon afterwards. And for some people, yeah, they think the marriage might make things better. But I actually came up with a different theory. This is my theory. My theory is
mhm,
this: it's two things. It's the fallacy. It's the sunken cost fallacy, combined with the validation fallacy. So, uh, you are a woman, right? And you have been, and or I could work the opposite way too, just see it less often this way. But so you're a woman and you're with this guy, and this guy ain't shit, or he's just not good for you, or he treats you badly, or something. He cheats on you all the time, something. And everyone keeps telling you this guy no good, you need to leave. He's never gonna make an honest woman out of you. He's never gonna make a good husband. He's never, right? But you guys don't know him like I do. You don't understand him like I do. You don't understand how special this is, guys, right? So on and so forth. And so they keep telling this lie basically constantly, while when they're in the privacy of their own home, crying and begging and pleading and not understanding why they're not married, not understanding why he won't put a ring on his finger, not understanding why he won't just validate her, just validate all that she's sacrificed, all that time they put in, all of those things they fought through together, validate it. And finally, he puts a ring on her finger. Normally out of just like, you know what? He's too tired to keep running the streets. Yeah, so he might as well. You're already here, right? Something like that. And she's gonna run with it because she's been waiting her whole life for that stupid ring, and for the stupid wedding and this stupid marriage thing, just to prove everyone wrong, right? And she's spent all this time with you. And so finally, you put the stupid ring on her stupid finger. And that's honestly how she feels: stupid ring, stupid finger, whatever. Finally, ha, see, told you guys he'd do it. See, told you it wasn't wasting my time. See, told you he loved me enough, right? That's what it's about. So you go through the marriage thing. And then honestly, once you've gotten married, well, it's done. Now you got the validation that you were waiting for all this time. And now that you finally got the validation and you can breathe again, now you remember, oh, wait a minute, I actually want nothing to do with this relationship. Why am I here again? Oh, yeah, I was here so that way I could prove he wanted something to do with the relationship. Is it? And once you get all that validation and the dust settles, and finally, okay, now you're sitting here, now you're like, what do I want? Right. I don't want any part of this. I don't even know if I love you anymore. I'm not even sure when I stopped loving you. I just know it's not here anymore. So it's been real. But see, you actually see this happen, unfortunately, a lot with these really, really long relationships that everyone says, girl, I don't know why you don't just leave him. Girl, I don't know why you just, I don't know why you just, and that's what she's doing. She's just doing it to be an in your face to her mama, to her best friends, to to all those chicks he slept with, all of that, just to prove that she won up to everyone. She won. She's victorious, and then that's it. That's it.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
You
Sad but
keep,
true. Sad
you
but true.
you keep that one. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Appreciate you. We'll have a show tomorrow at 7 p.m. I don't think anything popping off. We started late last Saturday because we wanted to attend Dysfunction that was going on
Mhm.
YouTube. We wanted to be there for support and to just check out some foolishness. I mean, check out something on YouTube. But anyway, we plan on starting on time tomorrow at 7 p.m. We'll have some articles and some things to talk about, and I'll have my judge and jury segment for
Nice.
sure. And again, depends on the participation. I will go a little longer. We'll see what happens. Um, so again, thank you, people. I really appreciate it. Hope you had enjoyed the show tonight, and we'll be here again tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It's hard, man. You don't understand how confusing it is. Like everyone talks to you like we all live in the same time zone. We do not. Like I don't know what that means. Come on, I said 8 Central. What does that mean? What is 8 Central? Is that supposed to mean words to me? Oh yeah, I don't live Central. I live Pacific. You live what? What is that in relation to me? What there's more? I don't know what those things. Listen, it's too much for me. If everyone just going forward could speak to Ruby in Eastern Standard Time, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I will do better next time.
Thank you.
And until next time, see you guys. Peace.
All right. Cheers.